Good Podcast.
Hey everyone, this is your girl Brianna Javon with What's Good Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for season 2, and we are actually on episode number 7. As you know, I don't have interviews, instead I have genuine conversations. So let's go ahead and get into it. Today for my episode, I do have 2 guests. I have Elisha and Josh McGhees. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
How are
Pretty
you?
good.
Doing good. Thank you. And so, if you guys been listening, I always start off the interviews with icebreakers. So I have one for each of you guys. You know, some people get, I don't know, this is an interview, so this is just to calm down y'all's nerves, okay? And so for Josh, I have for you, what is the first thing you think of when you wake up in the morning?
Praying, just trying to make sure to kind of prepare my mind for the day. So rather I'm laying down or rather I'm standing up, the first thing I think of is say a little prayer, cover my family, my wife, my son. So that's kind of the first thing.
Okay, me too. That's good. Okay. And Elisha, what childish things do you do as an adult today?
Oh my God, I'm like an adult child right now. I would say one of the things that I do the most is like watching cartoons. Like that's just, it's not going anywhere. SpongeBob.
Nice, my
Always has
dude.
been. I was like, SpongeBob is my dude. He always has been. But it's funny because like, yeah, we used to go to movies and stuff and like see the animated movies and have no kids with us. And be like, what y'all do? Like,
Really?
Yeah, we going to see Incredibles by ourselves. Like,
What's the most recent cartoon, either movie or just cartoon at home that you guys seen?
What did we just watch?
Probably, I don't know, we watch.
We rewatched Ratatouille. I was like Zootopia and Ratatouille the other day.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, my son was half watching it, but we was watching it.
Y'all was in tune.
That was a hard question because it depends on what, we've watched a lot of them, so it's like, what did we watch last? We've watched a lot of them back to back, like I said, Zootopia.
Nice.
We just rewatched 101 Dalmatians. I haven't seen that. We
You
have
got
some Disney Plus.
Yeah. That's how I knew it. I swear, I watch Disney Plus. Like it's so bad because they got all the classics.
But that's the bad thing. Like we got it, but I didn't get it for my son. I got it for me. I was like, I like to watch it. I like to watch all the movies.
Disney did their thing on that one.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the conversation. Let's start with you guys as a couple. How did you guys meet?
So I'll tell my side and then she can tell her side.
It's always 2 sides, right?
So I was in college. We had a mutual friend. Well, actually, at the time, she was just someone I had met at in my dorm. And so I would just kind of go to her room and we'd kind of hang out. And I would actually be playing like ping pong in the lobby. And so I would also perform around campus, like sing and play piano, things like that around campus. So she said she saw me then, and then eventually when she was coming to see her friend in my dorm that I had just met also, that she was kind of like, oh, that's that guy that I've been seeing around campus and he's mine, supposedly. That's what she said.
Oh, you were
but I didn't know that. I mean, I guess I wasn't really focused on like that. I was more focused on like I never really believed when she said someone likes me. I'm just like, okay, whatever. If you say somebody like me, whatever. But she said she liked me and she kind of scooped me up supposedly, but I wasn't giving her the attention that she wanted, so she had to quote unquote take it. So
Let's tell the story. Let's tell the story how it really is.
But, I mean,
You told like 30% of the truth.
okay, I have to try to give your side.
The real truth is, I did see him performing, and I was like, oh, okay, he can sing, he's cute. And then I did go to my friend's dorm, and I saw him playing ping pong. Well, the same night, I think there was like a party or something. So when he walked back past her room, her door was open. And she was like, hey, are you going to the party? And he saw me in there. He like he didn't see me. But he saw me in there. So all of a sudden, he came in the room like, oh, hey, my name Josh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, So when he left, I said, girl, give him my number, girl, he's cute. Ooh. And so she gave it to him. But you know he didn't call me.
Why? I have to ask why. Because I know for women, first to even make that step.
Exactly. That was hard. And then he didn't call. So then I had to step
I
up
think
on
I wasn't really focused on like, I was trying to focus on school. I was a freshman, so I was just trying to focus on, you know, just going to class. And I told myself before I got to college, I'm like, I'm not gonna have a girlfriend. I'm just gonna just relax, go to school, focus on that. And yeah,
all I hear is excuses.
Those plans changed.
So the next time I seen him, I was like, hey, I was like, no, you didn't like not call me, and I gave you my number. So I walked up on him. I said, excuse me.
You did?
Yes, I said she gave you my number. Why didn't you call? And he was like, oh, I didn't know. He was like, I didn't think that she really like. He was like, I didn't want to call you because she told me to call you. So I didn't want to just call you, not knowing if you really had told her to call me. So I was like, okay.
She was playing matchmaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I let him slide that time.
It was kind of a good excuse.
Yeah. But I was like, don't ever do that to me.
That is hilarious.
And we've been together ever since.
So what was the first date like?
What was the first date? We went to
the movies.
Yeah, we did go to movies. We went to movies and we went to. You remember what I had on?
Yeah, the long black coat and the black boots and the, yeah, I remember.
Oh.
We went to the movies and yeah, it was actually
it
different.
Because it was November.
You have the long black coat. Yeah, I remember. But it was actually great. I mean, I really wasn't used to going on dates as much. I mean, I'm from Fort Worth, so we just kind of hung here and there. And when I grown up, I really focused on like school and music and doing all that stuff. So as far as dating and going out a lot, I didn't do a lot of that. Just because I was so involved in so many things that like when one thing stopped, another thing started. So that was really like my first like real like, hey, me and her planned and we actually went out on a date. So that might be the reason why I remember all the details about it.
What made you come out of your comfort zone? Like you mentioned, you're this way, this way, this way. What made you come out your comfort zone for her?
Well,
I didn't give him a choice.
I was gonna say that might have been it. She was very like assertive and for me, I always tell her, I said, I'm never fazed by women. Like, you know, I understand women are beautiful and all that stuff like that. And there's plenty of beautiful women, but it never fazed me to the sense where I felt like I had to, like that was the only way I could live, or that was the only way I could have an identity. Like a woman wasn't my identity, or having multiple women wasn't my identity. So my focus was more on like progression and whatever I was doing. So her coming along was more of an addition as opposed to a distraction, I guess so to say.
I like that. So I have to know from you, because I am the type of girl, he hasn't hit me up, I'm out. What made you continue to, like you approached him, I gave you my number, what's up?
And you know what, that is so out of my comfort zone. That is so out of my comfort zone.
It was her pride.
Are you Leo?
No, I'm a Gemini. We're both Gemini.
Oh, okay.
It was her pride, that's what it was.
Okay.
What you trying to say?
Well, her pride is like if I made a decision, or if I told you to call me, or if I like, I mean, and it may be, I don't know, it could be the situation where that's something she's kind of used to. If she told somebody to call her, then he would call her. I mean,
is that the case?
Well, she's
something like that.
I mean, look at her. She's beautiful.
Yeah,
so if, to be honest, if most likely, 99% of the time, I'm sure if she gave somebody her number, then told them to call her, they're gonna be like, okay, of course I'm gonna call her. Like she's, And for me, it wasn't all about just like, I guess, physical beauty. So I wasn't really like, oh man, she's beautiful, I need to call her type thing, because I've never really looked at a woman specifically only for their beauty, I guess. And I was always a little bit further past my age in the sense of that, like, multiple women wasn't really a big thing for me. I've always been kind of a focused on like one woman, and that was it. So I think that's possibly, like I said, probably just her pride in the sense of like, yeah, I'm sure I've given many guys my number and they called me, but I don't know what it, why. Yeah. Oh, so you're not gonna call me, so I'm not, I'm not good enough. I'm not cute enough for you to feel like I'm, and it was probably just that, and for her, I was just like, it's not that, like it's really not that. It's just like, I'm not after you for specifically like your beauty or the way you look. Like, there's more to life than that. I mean,
But he called.
but I called.
Eventually, right?
But the thing that's funny because he called the night. I think the night after I kind of ran up on him, and then we talked for like 6 hours.
Really?
Like straight 6 hours, and it was the longest call. Like it was one of those like you hang up first, oh you hang up first, but it was like we had literally known each other for years.
And how long was it? Always just a I see you, you cute situation, or did you guys ever like actually had a conversation before he was like, friend, give him my number?
You never.
No, we had never. I didn't even know who she was actually.
So you saw him.
Because I never saw. She saw me. I didn't have no idea.
I saw him.
I even saw her in her friend's room and said hi and thought nothing of it. I was like, hi. She's like, this is my friend Elisha. I was like, oh, hi, how are you? And I just went on about business. I didn't even.
Wow.
I wasn't even like
It had to be God sent because I don't think I've ever went and pursued somebody like that and then went back and was like, hello.
What gave you the courage to do that?
I'm telling you, God must have told me something because
I have no idea either.
I
don't know.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have did that. I don't think I've ever did that before.
Wow.
Yeah, I think she has an attitude. If you don't call me, then I'm moving on. Like I feel like that's kind of them because I know I look too good to be. Not saying with,
but that's
but
what
yeah,
I
like
Exactly. I'm like, okay, we'll forget him then. But that's what I'm saying. Like it was, I don't know.
Yeah,
It was something about him. He was just too cool for school.
That's what I asked, like, what was a particular trait that you saw, or because you never spoke to him, so it was something that was like, he intrigues me.
I think it was just how he carried himself. I mean, honestly, like he said, he wasn't concerned about everything that everyone else was concerned about. So like you could see that in the way that he walked. Like he wasn't one of those guys on campus that everyone's like, oh yeah, he talked to so and so, or he talked. He hadn't talked to anybody. Nobody was really saying anything. I mean, they knew his name because he performed a lot on campus because he was a singer. And other than that, like that's all you knew about him. So it was just like, okay, he can sing, he's cute, but like, what am I missing? And it was like that kind of intriguing thing. Like I need to know some more about this guy.
He was a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not really like a super open person, number one, but number two, I think my focus is a lot different in the sense of I've always been focused on progression as opposed to like quote unquote I don't want to say living in the moment because I do want to live in the moment, but like I've never been focused on things that will like hold me back. Like I try to like avoid distractions. I've always tried to just stay busy and avoid distractions, especially growing up where I am. Everybody didn't make it out, from where I am, so it's very important for me to just really focus and progress. And my dad and my mom have taken it so far, and I want to take it even further. And and my thing always has been making sure that whatever you do is it reflects on everybody. It reflects on yourself, it reflects on your parents, it reflects on that. And I've never wanted to like disappoint my parents or disappoint. So I've always wanted to stay out of trouble and make sure that I didn't disappoint them, but also while creating a legacy that something that I could potentially, they could live off of, or I can help them. So.
Okay. And you're older.
I'm older.
You're older. Okay. So how did that feel with
she's only 1 year. So
not long.
No.
Okay,
So,
that's not bad.
She's like, 1 year and 8 days. So.
Not bad, because both of y'all are Geminis.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Because y'all have two different sides.
But I think that's why it works.
It's
I
the
tell everybody all
balance.
the time is I think we are both different. Like we're each other's Gemini side. Like we're not. I kind of have both traits on both sides, but he's kind of like stuck on this side. I'm like he's the quiet one. I'm the loud one. I'm like the argumentative one. He's like, okay, are you done yet? And I'm like, like so we kind of balance out each other to where it works, to where like our moods aren't just like bouncing off each other to where we like, okay, this is crazy.
So how is like the communication with that? Like she's, hey,
Yeah.
we need to get it together, and you're like, no, we need to, take a step back.
Well,
how does that work in the household?
I was gonna say, I really think like for her, and this is something that we've constantly talked about and worked on, is the problem really like many times the problem was the thing that like rattled her. For me, I was always focused on, okay, we know what the problem is. We need to figure the solution. We need to spend more time on the solution than the problem. So it kind of balances out that way because I calm her down from worrying about the problem by saying, hey, let's take less time worry about the problem. Let's focus on the solution. And she's over here like, what the problem? Yeah, exactly. So I think that's where it kind of balances out. I'm more of the, hey, let's get it, let's solve it. And she's more of the focus on the problem, but she's also, in that same sense, she's the organizer. She's the one that is really good at organizing things, and so
we kind of balance.
We really balance
because
so
once
I need the organization.
I was like, once he has a solution, I'm like, okay, well, we got a solution. Okay, now let's organize it. Let's figure out how to put it out there. So it kind of works both ways.
It's weird how it works that way, but yeah, that's kind of how it works.
Okay, well, this is a good segue into talking about the business. So, as far as the next question, what is the business? How did it come about? And how did you guys come together to agree that's what you wanted to do?
So we actually have two businesses. One, I actually started 3 years ago. So that one's Page 11 Paper Goods. It's a stationery business. And we focus on just helping people stay on top of their goals, making sure they're intentional with their time, staying organized. Like you said, I'm the organizer. So it's like a planner company. We have journals and things like that. So I started that honestly based on just something that I've always done, and people, kept asking like, how are you so organized? How do you, keep track of your events and all these things? How do you set goals at the beginning of the year and actually still work on those come mid-year, things like that. So I just wanted to have some type of products to kind of just help people stay kind of progressing, like you said. And so when I started that, he was definitely supportive of me starting it and was always there on the backhand side. And then now it's kind of been like, he's like my right-hand man when it comes to the business. But it's funny because I don't think in the beginning I thought of it as being our business. I always would say, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine.
Got it. Was it like a thought before y'all got together? Or it
wasn't a thought before we got together. It was something that I did all my life.
Gotcha. I let you know that now.
Not me.
Planner. Not me.
But I think even working with him is helping him kind of become a little bit more organized too. Because I'm like, okay, your wife has a whole planner business and she's all organized. Like, you can't be out here looking unorganized and then come back looking on me.
Right.
So it's been good to kind of be able to kind of build that together. Now, once he started getting on board and seeing what I'm doing and, helping out with events, he helps out with shipping. I always laugh because I'm like, he's my shipping manager. He's like, I'm not getting paid for this. But he definitely helps out a lot. And then when he started his business, it was pretty much twofold because at that point we were both helping each other. So I'll let you talk about.
My business, and I say it's a business, but really for me, it's more of like a mentorship, more of a just sharing knowledge. It's called the Penny Lounge.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So the Penny Lounge, pretty much, I think it really kind of came from a point where I grew up in a middle class family, and my dad, he's probably one of the hardest working people. I mean, just period. He'll work, and I kind of got that, the working side from him. And what I realized is that I gained some knowledge about finances that I didn't have before, that I feel like I need to share. And that was that there is a way to live financially stress-free. Right? And I think that's the biggest thing for me, is that I see so many people I've seen so many people living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, Lord.
And it wasn't on purpose. Right? It was just a part of everyday life. And usually with the middle class family, that's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
You go to work, get your paycheck, pay the bills, start that cycle over again. And what happens in that situation is if something comes up that alters that one of those paychecks, or something happens where it's short, where it doesn't come in on time, then you're like one check away from being homeless, or late. So I felt like that was really big for me. So I started doing research. I started listening to different, podcasts, different, reading different books, different programs, and it kind of led me to the fact that there is a way to live financially stress-free. And one thing I found out was that it's a mindset. And so my business was created because I wanted to help change mindsets. And that's really it. All the calculations and everything are good because I've always done that. But it doesn't help me to calculate, it doesn't help you to calculate if your mindset cannot be changed. So calculations are just a pretty piece, I always tell her, calculations are just a pretty piece of paper until it's actually executed. If you can't execute it, you just have spent your time making a piece of paper look really good, make some numbers look really nice. So the Penny Lounge was specifically made for sharing information, and also to make sure that we teach people, financial literacy, the real truths about money and all these money myths that are out there that people believe. Growing up in different lifestyles, many people believe different things about money.
So true.
Right. So we want to actually go through those myths and talk about what's real and what's not. And also to make sure that people understand that there is a way to live financially stress-free, and that's kind of the biggest thing, and that's why the Penny Lounge was created, just sharing information, financial literacy, and if you're gonna live paycheck to paycheck, this is our slogan: paycheck to paycheck on purpose. So if I'm living paycheck to paycheck, it's for a purpose. It's for a specific time frame to get me to where I want to be.
So. Okay, so with both of the names, I think both of the company names are really unique. How did you guys come up with those names?
Personally.
So with page 11, so I've always had, I guess 11's been like my number. So we always see 11:11 on the clock and things like that. But for me, page 11, I always tell people it's like the beginning of the book. So you've gotten past the introduction and you're getting into the good stuff. And I think for me, that's what represents my business, because you know what you want in life, and you know, kind of you see the vision for it, but you've gotten past just the beginning, and this is the good part to where you're now organizing it, you're planning for it, you're planning how you're going to get there. You're looking at the steps ahead that you need to go. So it's more so of the bulk of the book, so to say. It's page 11 is actually making it come to life and actually executing those things, and that's what comes after, the introduction. So it's more so just having kind of your vision and everything in the forefront, and then also just making sure that you know what's coming ahead and you're actually executing those things.
Super good. Okay.
Nice. And for the Penny Lounge, I think for me, it started with, I thought about all kinds of things, $1 million and all this stuff, and I felt like every penny is very important, right? So in order to be able to get to where you want to be, every single penny is important. So some people say, oh, well, it's $1 here, it's just 5 cents here, it's 10 cents here, but all those pennies add up. If you don't start at the penny, if you have 6 subscriptions coming out and it's only $5, that's $30 that is coming out of your account or leaving your money that could be used for something else, And so I thought wanted to start with making sure people know that every penny is very important. And then I use the lounge part because I feel like in our community, money, and in just many communities, money is like a really shied away topic. People don't really want to talk about the real truths about money. People don't want to be honest with others about like money, and everybody can do what they want with their money, but the thing about doing what you want with your money is that if you want to get somewhere, you'll do what it takes and you do the right things with your money to get to where you want to be. And I feel like it's a conversation that's not talked about. So I figured the lounge would be somewhere where we can just kind of sit down and talk about the importance of every penny.
Nice.
And so we can kind of start that conversation. So I want people to feel comfortable with talking about it. Don't make it like it's a anomaly, like it's a topic nobody wants to discuss. Let's sit down and talk about every penny, and we're going to lounge, we're going to enjoy, we're going to not only make it like a seminar, but we're just going to enjoy each other and share what we know and share what we've learned and talk about what's the truths, what's not. Everybody's truth is not the same, but there is one truth that everybody wants to understand what wealth is.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the key.
So that's the biggest thing. It's just the penny was starting with every penny. The lounge was just being relaxed to be able to just talk about money and it not be a shied away topic. So.
And I feel like with both of the businesses that you guys have, they coincide with one another. Have you guys like did a collaboration with like an event, like one big event? Let's talk about finances and planning for the new year. We can get this all together. Have y'all done that?
It's in the works.
Okay, look at me.
But it's funny because honestly, for the first probably year or so that we were both running it, we didn't even think about it until people started asking. We were like, I guess they do kind of go. But I mean, like we always knew that they went together because they go together in our home.
Right.
But we never even thought about it, and so yeah, we're working on a few things together jointly coming up. So.
I was gonna say we actually just had a meetup yesterday, and she actually spoke at the meetup about goal setting, financial goal setting. So so it kind of just happened that way. We have something that's gonna be formal for it, but she did speak about goal setting in the meetup on yesterday. So it goes hand in hand for sure.
Nice. And so individually, what does that support look like, let's say for your events and then your lounges? How does that look like for you to support her for her events and you to support him for his lounges?
It depends. I was like, it depends because a lot of times I'm all over the place when it comes to the actual event. That a lot of times I just need him there. Like I just need you there, and I need you there when I'm at home, you know, leading up to the event, just to hear me. Because I'm usually venting. I'm like, this ain't going right, this is wrong, I'm waiting on this, I gotta go get this, and he's just sitting there like, what can I do? So it's honestly just being that support team, really listening and like listening to what I need and taking that and running with it. Because there's been times where I've said, oh my God, I gotta do all these things, and then next thing you know, he's like, hey, I already did that for you. I'm like, oh, you was listening and you did it? Okay, 2 points for you.
Okay.
But it's really just being that support outside of the events, honestly. As long as I have that, I know I have that support outside of the event and outside of everything that we have going on, it pushes me to do that. We're definitely, if we're able to be at each other's events, we're definitely there. But honestly, I think yesterday may have been one of the first times we were both in an event and actually with each other talking, because I think most of the time we're kind of running back and forth. Like I'm running in and he's just in the background just going crazy.
I think I've done one big event with you in Southwest.
Yeah.
So I've done one event with her, and maybe I've done a couple events with her, but definitely had to learn her products for sure, because there's been plenty of times where she's walked away from the table and you know to go you know whatever it is, go do a walk away, and I'm just like, a customer walk up and I'm like, okay, so next time I do this again, I'm gonna know what's going on.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I've definitely learned her products. So if she is talking to someone else, or if she is away, that I can also sell her products just like she can. So kind of had to learn that, and also I had to learn it because I had to use it myself.
Right.
You know, I had to look at it. I had to watch her use it, watch me, so I've kind of learned her products also.
What did those steps look like for you to learn those products? Did you have to sit down with him like, hey, this is this, that?
Well, I was gonna say, I actually designed the ones this year.
Nice.
So, I actually did all the the layout and everything, the ones this year. So.
And I think that was a turning point too for us, because it was, again, like he knew what they were. He's been there, since I started. But at the same time, it was like, oh, you have this here, you have it there. It's like, you didn't notice that it's been there this whole time. But it's like you said, kind of just teaching him, why I put certain things here and why I designed it like this, and actually working with him this time on the designs was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
I'll leave it to you. Do your design work and come back. And I was like, oh, okay, you did good. Like that was nice. But it was actually just being able to, again, communicate and work together and really just support each other kind of on that back end side.